Hold on. Oh. I cut right in. Hopefully I didn't bust somebody's eardrums. The microphone had turned. Ooh, hold on. It's like really picking it up loud. I don't know what's going on there. It's getting real, like, into the red. So I'm going to try to tone it down a little bit. Just a little bit. I don't know what's changed. The thing is, I aim kind of to be in the yellow. And if I shout, I kind of aim for it to be a little bit into the red. By shout, I mean, like, if I try to get really loud. Um, so I try to play somewhat in the middle with the mic. I try to sit there. I'm going to try to, just in case, I'm not going to get real loud. I think in this video, just to not blow out anybody's eardrums, hopefully. So it's funny because I was just saying I think that the beginnings typically of our videos we miss. I think it cuts off a little bit. So you may be coming into this and entirely missing that portion. If you are, then don't worry about it. It's not a problem. So if you notice our name is different, it's because Groon in the last episode, and we did a little different, something different than previous seasons. So if you missed last episode, Groon accidentally stepped back into lava, and if you're in a dungeon and you step into lava, you just die. He was in a valiant fight against the slime, and when he swung forward, it looked like he was going to fall forward into lava, and we overcompensated it and stepped backwards into lava. So sadly, Groon didn't make it, but fortunately, we have Groon's brother here, Groonmar Aptalvern, so Groon Aptalvern. So we do have a sibling. There is another, and the other one is Groonmar. So Groonmar is pretty much mostly the same. We did change a few things with him. He's in the same world, so you'll see like items around. He pretty much recovered much of what Groon had. He has to start from the ground up, skill wise, though. So the only real jump ahead he's getting is just the gear collected. But he loses all the skills. He doesn't start off. He doesn't keep anything. If you go into this, it's pretty much permadeath. It's pretty much as if you came across another player's dead body, because you can play this multiplayer. It'd be pretty much the exact equivalent of coming across a player's dead body. And as you can see, I just walked right up the stairs. But it's as you can see, poor Groon's stuff is in the in the lava there. But don't worry, Groonmarg will avenge his brother. And his parents apparently liked him a little better because Groonmar basically means Groon the Great, or the same thing as Groon but great. Because I think Mar in Welsh I think means greater, or like something like that. In naming conventions maybe. Let's sell some stuff by taking all this ruined equipment. So he was looking up and then he steps back. So he's swinging up. I'll show you over here. So basically what happened, if you missed it, is you're swinging like that. And then it looked like he was going too far forward. And because it makes you step a little bit, and we overcompensated backwards. So don't make that same mistake. So if you swing, it's going to launch you forward a little bit. If you're holding the backward button, you'll see what happens. You're trying to back up, you're going to end up doing that and falling off. So if you're curious what happened to Groon, if you already know what happened to Groon, we both experienced that absolutely saddening day together. But the good thing about it in this dungeon is it's absolutely full of money. Now this thing is a monster. That was the thing he was fighting valiantly before slipping back into lava. It can do a lot of damage. Definitely not something to underestimate. I'll show you kind of just what I mean. So he did 200 damage to us, which is a lot more than what we've been facing with a lot of other enemies. And the big difference is look how little damage we do to it. So you've seen us doing a lot of damage. See, it's doing in the 500s. You've seen us doing hundreds of damage to enemies. Right? Now we're in a situation of where we're doing basically no damage. And I think it's because we're using a physical weapon rather than something magical. I'm pretty sure it's because it's a slime. Much of this game is still mystery. I'd like to keep it the same way with Kenshi, where I try to avoid lore videos and lore stuff like that. Not to say that there's a lot of lore videos for DarkDIRE, but I tried to find out the lore through exploring. There are sometimes, especially with with Kinchi, where it's just so widely known that you really can't kind of perfectly hide yourself away from lore or spoilers. So you just find out things, or you get the telephone effect, in which you think that you have lore one way and then it's actually not, or something like that. One of the best things about DarkDIRE is just not many people do anything about DarkDIRE. It's not a very commonly seen game, and it's kind of another reason why I love it so much, because it's not really something that can get spoiled for me. There's not many spoilers. I mean, I have read guides on character construction, correct? But nobody really can tell you or like what character abilities are, because on the website you can see character abilities, and if you want, you can go into the lore. Generally, I think it's okay. I don't think it's a spoiler really to look up anything that involves things related to your character existing in the world. For example, if you want to be there's different religious factions in the game. You kind of want to know what faction you're joining so you can make a character that makes sense, right? But beyond that, beyond that, you don't get any spoilers beyond what you're handed for the purpose of creating a character or stuff like that. So the website's actually, I would say the website's kind of spoiler safe. If you wanted to check it out, the DarkDIRE website, I don't really remember the link. If you look up DarkDIRE, you're probably gonna find it. Believe it or not, I think the game shares a name with a kid who does YouTube. Believe it or not, and nothing against the kid. I'm just saying they think they share a name. I don't know anything about that, but the game itself is like, if you were to make a video on this, it's actually not typically, like, if you were trying to do it on Twitch, you can get it to work. But I don't think something like YouTube would even recognize what you're trying to tell it exists. So I don't know exactly how that would work, but I don't know. I find it as a really fun game. It's a shame that you don't see that many people. The community on the Steam not forums, but the Steam community page, I'll say, is healthy. It seems like, or is alive. There's a heartbeat, at least a little bit, because you can find people suggesting different things. Albeit sometimes it's the actual developer, so which is very helpful, but at the same time not really great measure. But it's a fun game. I enjoy it. It's one of the few games when I'm playing it. It's arguably my favorite day of the arguably my favorite day of the week, just because it's my favorite of the games we play. And which is going to be a heresy because I'm playing Morrowind, and I know a lot of people like Morrowind. But I just like it because I don't know anything about it beyond what I've learned in the game. Sometimes if you're like explorer personality, this is exactly the kind of thing you want to get yourself into, because while Morrowind offered that a lot back when it came out, I'm coming back to it because I know I missed out on it. I realized that I do know a little bit more than I would have liked to have known going into it. So I know a little too much. I know a little too much to find some of the explored. Some of it's really fun, like the following. Okay, I would spoil it for somebody else. There's a guy who spooked me like crazy because I didn't realize he was gonna come out of nowhere. But I knew who he was once I figured out who he was. But a truly kind of game where you don't see much about it, it's just hard to find anymore. It's just really, really hard to find. And on one hand, DarkDIRE's kind of indie nature has given it the greatest gift of game playing, or I don't even know how to say it, but the greatest gift unknown to it, and that is mystery. There's a lot of mystery about it. I don't even know where to retrain. I know I can retrain. I have no clue where to retrain. And I've played this game quite a bit. There's probably people who may have played more than me that just don't I don't know, we don't have sorcery yet. Yeah. But I guess what I'm saying is I can't recommend this game more for the sole purpose of, if you were going to ever play it sooner rather than later, because I think that would teach us a language, but I don't want to really mess with languages right now. We know that the books are there. We do want to sell our stuff. I just realized we are carrying a bunch of stuff, but we do need to sell our stuff because we are not nearly as upgraded. I keep forgetting that we're basically new at all of this. So magical staff. I wonder if you know what? I kind of want to see if the vault is the same. No, we do lose his vault access, so we are officially new. We can't just raid his safety deposit box, basically. Okay. So, ironically, if you are going to die in a permadeath zone, you might as well bring some of your valuables with you. If you're not going to die in a permadeath zone, then leave your valuables here. But let's get our money first for all that ruined stuff. We have a lot of non-ruined stuff because we just left the tutorial area. We're not really far into him, unfortunately. He's got a lot of gear, which is allowing him to do some stuff, but he's not really... He's pretty much, fresh as an adventurer. Literally just with the gear of a dead person. With his dead brother. That's pretty much what he's got going for him. It's not the only thing he's got going for him. And I think, technically, unlike his dead brother, he actually took a second skill. So he's less likely to end up... Well, I guess he would have, no amount of defensive ability would have really helped falling back into lava. Cracks are that same way. Watch out for cracks in the floor in DarkDIRE because they will kill you. They just will... They'll kill you, and there's nothing that you'll be able to do about it in the game. It's very infuriating the first time it happens because you do not expect it. Because you're kind of thinking, well, if it's a trap, it's going to go off kind of like the fire traps. And it's just going to be, worst case scenario, something happens, and that's it, right? I get burned or I get hurt a little bit. Maybe I fall into another level. It's just instant death. It's instant death. So, cemetery add parchment. I'm not going to mess with some of the parchments this time. I want to actually put some of the other parchments I have in here into here because it just stays. You can just put stuff anywhere. You can literally leave it on the ground. That's another great thing is nothing despawns, as far as I know. Except bodies. Bodies despawn, but only after... so if you don't loot them, they'll disappear with the gear that's on them. So if you don't want to trash up the place and you're not going for gear, don't loot them. That's my advice. They drop some stuff without having to loot them. They drop things that are typically not broken. And they'll drop typically things that are like money. I think they'll always drop their money. I don't think they'll ever hold on to their money so you have to loot them for the money. So let's go ahead and put the mysterious letter in there. We can always find it later. Passports are really good to have on you because otherwise you can't travel to certain places. But we know we're rank 10 places, so that's not really a problem. I want to just sell the katanas and everything else. I can always rebuild the family arsenal. The Abtalvern family arsenal. Now, I do not know if technically... One thing I'm still a little bit unsure of is I don't know if I technically screwed anything up by deleting because they keep up a dead character still keeps a slot, so to speak. So I guess you could theoretically do I play until this many slots are filled and then I world permadeath. You could do that, but I don't really know if that's what the intention is. So that's a mystery. That's a little bit of a mystery. I'm gonna keep this magical staff. Mostly because I know I can use sorcery with that. I don't know if I can ultimately use sorcery with some other stuff. So I do want to put the loyalist sword in here. I think I've already expressed that anything loyalist I want to keep. Just because I feel bad for throwing away anything that has loyalist as its name. Just feels bad. Like bad form. I know it's not meaning loyalist as in it's loyal to me, but I always feel bad about it. So and now there is one thing there's one thing that we do need to do, and that's experience. Hold on, I almost left without it. We do need to see what kind of experience we need. Hold on, I right click. You can also right click, as you see, and kind of if you right click, you'll automatically move to that little area. So. Just a little information there too. So if you don't want to have to hold down a button, you can just right click. But I often find holding it down gets you there faster. Let's see. What skill did we start with? We definitely have psionic. So let's increase our psionic skill. Now we don't have the crazy high psionic abilities that we did with the other guy. But if we remember correctly, I couldn't shoot fast enough because my skill wasn't high enough. So this actually gives us an opportunity. We also haven't increased our stats at all. I think we're going more battle mage than pure mage this time. We're going to have some balance in everything. So we're going to go up with intelligence for sure. We also want to go up, I think, in strength. Hold on, I do want to stop for a second to see what my skills are. I have again because I do know we restart. Oh yeah, we have the plane of slashing. We're also good at, which is a big benefit. I think it's parry and scion is what we have right now. I think that's all we have. I think that might be all we have. Maybe, possibly. Parry and scion. Yep, parry and scion, and then run and jump is just as it is, just standard. So let's go ahead, and we could go into a defensive stance. We could go do a defense stance too, which would be fun. I would recommend only doing parry or evasion. You could do evasion if you wanted, but I would not recommend doing all three: parry, block, and evasion, unless you just are absolutely terrified of dying. But then if you step into lava, you die anyway. So generally too many defenses, and eventually it's rockfall. You end up dying because of something entirely outside of your ability to defend. So I would recommend having fun with trying to be at least somewhat balanced or aggressive, because there is no such thing as a perfect defense in this game. There are things that you just cannot defeat. But now I think like with levitation spells, you might be able to defeat some things, some of the instant kills traps. But it's like a hard pass, where it's like either you pass it or you don't. That makes sense. How much experience do we have? We're getting there. We're almost to 50. I want to actually just train up the skill a little bit. I think it was actually just going up from having a higher intelligence, I want to say. So 21. Am I going to be able to go up one more time? Yeah, I can go up a lot more. I don't know why. 21, no, 21 still. 22. It is going up just from having higher intelligence. Okay, that's interesting to know. I can go up to 50, I think. Almost to 50. Almost to 50. Now we can increase our scion a little bit. Probably a good choice. Probably a good choice. We could also learn mental cuts, which is damage over time. That's good, but it's not going to do a ton until we actually get it upgraded, and we need higher scion, or we're just never going to ever be able to shoot. If that's what we learned, is that you'll just not shoot because it's too high ranked and your skills are too low. You'll end up in that awkward situation. What does that give us? Slash resistance, parrying, and two-handed hammer. Move that over here. I want to see why I didn't pick that as my chest plate. Slash resistance axe. Slash resistance parrying. Now one's junk, one's poor. So let's see. I want to see which one's better. So if we look at our defenses, you can check our defenses here. 34, 34, 32. So let's go ahead and remove the other one. So let's remove that. And instead put on the disturbing chest plate. Okay, it's exactly the same, but I get different benefits. I do think that this was non-faction, and the other one I think was faction, wasn't it? Chest. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. So yeah, that's just kind of better. It's kind of better if I remember correctly. What was that? The armor here? It's slightly more slash resistance, but it seems like it balanced out. Craftable average value. Because the axe doesn't do anything for us, but we do have parrying. So that's something to keep in mind. So parrying is pretty much as long as you're facing. Parrying and blocking are basically the same. It's essentially the same thing. You could have both. Should you have both? Again, refer to what I said about Rockfall. But you could. There's nothing stopping you from doing it. If you want to do it, knock yourself out. Nothing is going to prevent you from doing that. And you could actually have a pretty fun character, I guess you could, with that. So let's sell this breastplate and this here, or maybe the boots, because I think these are just armor, but then no upgrades, right? Is that it? Deadly plate boots, prior temple, parrying, and evasion. Now that actually, hold on, do we not put on like the best the best gear? Hold on, let's check our feet. Slash resistance and webmaster. Ooh, that's a hard one. That's actually a hard one because one's a hard resistance versus a bonus to both of our defense skill. A defense skill and then a defense skill we don't have, but will still help us. If I remember correctly, I believe that will still help us, even though we don't have that skill, because we can still dodge. We can still dodge even though we don't have evasion. I'm gonna say the straight resistance is kind of hard to. It's hard to pass up because it's slashing. Slashing is just so common, and it gives us Weapon Master, which increases our chance to hit. But we want to do magic ultimately, so I'm gonna say. I hate to say it. Remove that, and then put the deadly plate boots on. It's just the parrying and evasion is going to be more useful than if someone comes in with the wrong kind of damage type. And I believe we even get a slashing shield from Psionic. I think that's even their specialty. And so we really want to move on to using Psionic abilities as something we can actually effectively use aggressively. Slash. So let's sell that. And then I think those don't have any abilities, right? Pull weapons, which doesn't really matter. Oh, also they're both medium armor, which means we're gonna sell them because unless you have an armor skill, I'd almost always recommend taking the heaviest armor possible. Just because you're not getting a bonus to compensate for the lower damage, and that's going to hurt you in the long run. Okay, let's move this up here because I like having two things with my name next to it. Grunmar. Let's move these over too. I want all the. I do wish there was an auto sort option. I don't think I think it's okay for if it doesn't necessarily always have to auto sort. Definitely something that I think is a preference, because there are times in which you really don't want everything to auto sort a certain way, because you'll lose all your stuff or lose it by you'll not remember where it is. Let's move it there. Let's move this here. Move the curse. Remove curse over here. Common necklace. Constitution. That just gives us Constitution. I guess we didn't want that. Let's move this up. And then move this over. We want to hold on to the magical staff. In fact, I'll actually just put the magical staff in here, because we do not have the ability to use it, but we do want it. And then we'll just sell the common necklace, because it's jewelry. We don't really need jewelry, if I remember correctly, because we are fully equipped except for a ring. If it was a ring, maybe, but I think Eerie Necklace, yeah, that's way better for us. Eerie Necklace is way better for us. If I remember correctly, Weapon Master doesn't actually boost our damage, it boosts our accuracy. I want to say, if I remember correctly, it's an accuracy boosting thing, not a damage boosting. Something like Berserker, I believe, is damage boosting. It's very hard to min-max in this game, but I will say you don't necessarily need to. So don't feel that bad if you find out later on you really haven't been min-maxing, because you can once you find the retrainer, which I think is easier probably to find once you have your own kingdom. But once you find the retrainer, you can always retrain. You can always retrain there. That's actually Well, I don't want to give you a little bit. There's something that you have that can help you. So don't throw away a lot of your starter stuff because there is something important that you have that you need in order to be able to reset. You won't be able to reset otherwise. Let's move before we get ran over by a train. Let's get to that dungeon. It is funny because it does make me think like as if South Park had a very serious fantasy plot line, or not serious, but like non-comedy, I guess you could say. Because of how the characters walk and move. Because they kind of have that kind of that 2D, but then in a we call it on a over the top or kind of at an angle animation style to it. It's endearing, I think. I think it's got some fun. It gives a fun kind of a look to it. I guess you could say it's almost RPG Maker-esque. Which I'd actually be interested to know. There probably was a credit I didn't see, but I don't know if I wonder who made all the art assets for DarkDIRE. The music I see is credited. Whenever the music pops up, it's credited for who provided the music. Like speaking of, right there, it does pop up, which I guess is on behalf of maybe whoever provided it was the conditional. It was on condition they showed it, or whoever it was who made DarkDIRE. I don't even know who it was. Who even made DarkDIRE. I think it's one person. Oh, it's night, isn't it? Oh no, it's not night. We're just in a dark tunnel. There we go. Dark tunnel of trees. Actually, no, it is night. It is night. It's hard to tell with the torches, right? Because it's got to be night because of the if the trees are dark, isn't that? I think that means it is actually night. It's hard to tell day and night apart when you're in the city because there's so many light sources. Oh, there we go. We went ahead and dodged. Possibly, thanks due to a few. Okay, he's getting real damaged by archers. I don't know if we're gonna even be able to get a hit in. I think we're gonna have all of the hard work done by our friends. I know we got a few hits in. We got a few hits in. I do like that there's a reporting on the bottom. I guess that by reporting I mean that you can see what did what, because normally in most games I don't really need that, and I think it can be kind of disruptive, but it's kind of hard to tell who's hitting who in kind of DarkDIRE battles, so it's actually very, very appreciated. Not that it's always super easy to read during the battles, but at least it's there. It's something you can scroll through afterwards, like as you can see. Oh, well, I have to wait until after I stop getting... I think you can scroll through it afterwards. Chat, yeah, there we go. You can look through it. You can't really scroll through it, but you can look through it. It shows up in the chat log. So you can see if you actually hit someone in that entire battle. But we're going to take a bunch of arrows because it's basically just a public service at this point. Actually, some of my earlier DarkDIRE videos, and I don't know if many of you caught exactly going on, but a lot of them actually were while on a server with a friend. So I think that it's something that definitely I'm happy to have it. Happy to have it have that feature. Very happy to have that feature. Let's take that and loose arrow. Another arrow. Take these two. These bodies will disappear, but some of the things they drop, like as you can see, they drop. Oh, I think that may have been. Okay, I don't know. But sometimes they'll drop, especially if you kill human targets, they'll drop stuff. If you've seen the earlier videos, you know what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and continue taking the arrows. And DarkDIRE littering. We're gonna end littering in DarkDIRE. No more just shooting arrows and forgetting. Oh, there we go. You could also be a hunter in DarkDIRE. You probably haven't been able to see being able to do it from this gameplay because we're in a city, but you can actually find wild animals. They run away from you. You have to kind of be creative of how you shoot them. So there's definitely ways of kind of adventuring or hunting, being kind of like a little hunter character. And you don't have to be a hero. You don't have to be a dungeon delver in this game. You can very much literally live an entirely peaceful civilian life, boost up the city's economy to be a high-ranking city, and then just never donate any of it, sell it all in other cities, and then leave your city as being nothing but a dump. But you have the freedom of choice there. This dungeon's a dump right now. Speaking of, let's see. Let's start just taking ruined stuff. Book of Aryan Culture would be neat. Oh, we just took a common quality stuff. I want to take the ruined first because then I'll be able to just sell it in mass without fear. Uh-oh. There we go. So we'll have to wait till day, but until day comes, we're going to just kill things. Which is always an Book of Pairing. Well, not that we need it, considering. And they recently made it where coins stack. I think I mentioned, it was before I really started doing this season that they already did that. So I guess I don't really need to show you how to... There was a way that you could stack your coins. It's no longer really necessary. Oh boy! There's a actual mage using that magical area thing again. That I do not like because it just stays there for just so long. I don't know if I kill him, maybe he'll go away. But it just seems it's not a very another magic another magic sorcerer. There we go. Good thing is they're all kind of coming up close, which is a horrible mistake on their part because they're all long range. Oh no, a healer. Oh, they've got me feared, so they're just gonna heal up while I'm running around like crazy. There you go. Let's kill that healer. Let's kill the healer. There's two of them now. Don't have the healers heal the healers. Don't let them heal each other. Okay, we're gonna get in some trouble here. They're gonna knock me outside of the dungeon, ironically. But okay, I think they're actually getting on. Oh no! Oh, that's not good. We're really hurt. Oh, we're in trouble. We gotta sit and rest. The good thing is if we die outside, we'll be okay. Okay, we're not gonna die. Okay, good. That was close. We learned the Vag spell. Or we didn't learn the Vag spell. We just saw him. We literally heard him say that. So now we can remember that, and we can try to cast that. Which is actually, while we're just resting from that, we can use the sorcery channel, which we don't know yet because we don't have sorcery yet. But you can just type that in, and eventually you'll become a macro or where you can click it. I don't know why I'm having such trouble tying those two words together. Let's rest. Actually, I think considering that this is an entirely new character with no real advantages and other things, he's actually kind of having a good amount of staying power. Honestly, though, if I had to recommend a defensive skill, I'd recommend evasion. Not really parry or block. Evasion's just kind of better. The only thing is, if you're going into strength, then it's not better because parry would then be better. But it's not a bad one. It's never a bad one. Only main reason we're doing parrying is because we're going to be investing in strength. Which actually should be probably the next thing I try to increase probably instead of trying to do other things. Because then I can get further through these dungeons and thus get more XP. So if you're gonna have if you're gonna have a warrior part of your build, it's not a bad idea to do that first. I will now speak the common tongue when I talk. I wasn't. I wasn't speaking common tongue. Uh-oh. Go down into Fencer's Grove here. I heard a noise. I don't know if you guys heard that noise too. Oh, yeah. See, that I do not like that area. I don't know if I have to learn something where I dispel it or something. But literally that means if I ever run into it. Okay, it's a Zug spell. It's Xug. So if I want to permanently basically destroy a path of movement through an area, that's what I know I can do. I'm not going to be able to get through here without hurting myself. So, I thought it was going to be just a one Here we go. I was kind of hoping that was going to be a choke point, but... Oh no, I'm afraid. I do not want to be afraid. We're caught by lava. The good thing is typically you just run one direction when you're afraid. So unless you really mess up, or if you're surrounded and generally you're not going to end up running into lava or a hazard. Unless the hazard is like right directly in front of you. We're having some trouble. They're really getting good at teaming up on us now. We were with we were getting better with Groon, but Groonmar is gonna have to climb up that hill on his own to some degree. We haven't improved his parrying really at all, so there is that. Okay, they're off balance. I wonder if I can hit them. Oh, I did. I hit one, but the other one moved. The problem is the healer, really. Also, he's got the most annoying sound effect, I'll have to say. The ding. He's got the cut. Hit him. Of all of them. It's not terrible, but the most annoying sound effect of all of their sound effects. Probably more annoying since I know that they're recovering every time I hear it. Ah, there we go. We heard him. Or we killed him. We're going to try to kill them. Now, I did show you a few tactics regarding with these guys. You could just run away whenever they swing. So like that. And then come back and hit. It's just not going to work that well against this many people. And you might attract more people. Yeah, like we have. Oh, we killed somebody, though. I'm kind of worried about the archers, though. Because if they could shoot me on my way back. I'm going to run through. Whoop. Run through. Okay, we hit him. We sent him flying. I don't know how he did that much damage. Oh, let's run upstairs. Getting too many people on us. We did kill one person. Unfortunately, we weren't able to proc his loot, so we won't be able to go and pick it up. If we want to actually get some mage stuff through exploring, we're going to have to actually kill some mages while we're down there. Rather than just warriors. Which is why we have so much war equipment right now. Just no magic equipment. We don't have really... like jewelry, maybe. We do have intelligence boosting jewelry. But other than jewelry, we do not have much equipment in the magic realm of things. We can sell loose arrows. Sell ruined surcoat. Who's Freyfer the Mercenary Ranger? Oh, you. Can I hire you? I know I can hire people in bars, but I never try to hire someone from this shop here. Splint mail. We're not worried about splint mail, so we're going to sell it. Even though medium armor would be a good idea for if we're going strength. But, we'll wait. These strength modifies that, but we might go constitution too. We might just go 50 everything, because the way we're doing hybrid builds, you're kind of just better off 50ing everything, especially because it's not very clear when you lower one stat which stat's going to get boosted. You're better off. I hate to say it, but the dump stat is if you're not a healing character, if you're not a character or someone who relies on their on divine attacks. Faith's generally got to be the thing that's got to go, because it doesn't really modify really anything that you'll ever use unless you use a faith skill. And so unless we're doing kind of an RP build in which you're using a faith skill, it's kind of useless. It's kind of useless and a throwaway. I mean, I guess intelligence is the same if you're not using magic. If you're not using magic, intelligence is the throwaway. Unless you're doing some kind of crafting that's intelligence oriented. But generally it's the throwaway. Those two both typically can be throwaways. Unless you're using one specific one. Strength is basically never a throwaway, and dexterity is really hard to be a throwaway. You can throw away strength, but then you have to go dexterity, or have to go intelligence, or something like that. You have to go something else hard. So I wouldn't recommend it. Because generally, if you go, for example, magic, if you throw away strength, then if you run out of your ability to do magic, You're left with your staff, and your staff is based off dex, yes, but your damage as a whole, is if I remember correctly, is based off strength. So I don't know about that, but strength is hard to get rid of. Dex is bad to get rid of because of it modifies dodge. Intelligence and faith is fairly easy to get rid of unless you need them. So mage builds in general are just a little bit hard to do in comparison to other style builds. Especially since they kind of need dexterity to use it if they want to fight with a staff. If they want to fight with a staff. At least some dexterity. Now we could actually fight with a staff, but we'd be parrying with a staff, which would be kind of a waste. It'd be kind of a waste. We would want to go evasion at that point. If we did do that, we'd go evasion. We'd do evasion parry. And for the sole intensive purpose that way we don't get interrupted while we're doing spells, and we have 2 different ways of preventing it from happening. The only problem really is we really want to get rid of parry and just keep evasion, if we could. But that's not the build we're doing. We want to actually be able to fight. We actually want to be able to fight. But if I can't find a magical weapon, and I can only find magical staves, I might very well reset. Or not reset, but find a person to reset my skills. There's wand crafting instructions. Wand is what you need for... you need wands for... if you're a wizard. It's the only weapon that you can use. You use magical weapons for sorcery. Wizards can only use wands. They're very, very particular what they're allowed to use. Whoa. There's somebody. I'm gonna actually, well, I could try to use magic on him, but I'm pretty sure I'm not really that good still. Until Slash. He's nowhere near where his, whoop, I think we did 18 to him. We actually did shoot him. We did shoot the spell. So little damage. We can just keep running and shooting at him, though. There's that. Oh, we got interrupted. I think we interrupted ourselves somehow. Okay, actually we're doing some damage. We actually are kind of hurting him. Yeah, kind of. A little. We actually kind of are, but it's going to take forever to do it that way. And use a lot of our fatigue. It's just not worth it. You could get them to jump back in the lava, hilariously enough. I don't know if they would actively ever dodge back into lava, though. I don't know if the AI would ever. I know you could theoretically do it, but I don't know. I don't know if the AI has that potential. The only way to really test it is get his back facing toward the lava, and that would mean our back is facing to the lava. Actually, maybe. Hold on, let's check. Oh, it's just gonna be dangerous to do it. I'm gonna keep trying to see if I can get him to jump back into lava. Oh, no, I can't. I don't think he will. I don't think the AI will jump willingly back up into lava. I don't think that's not their MO. That's not what they're about. They're not about that jumping back into lava life. Oop, there we go. He jumped back toward lava, though. He'll do that. He can hit from a pretty far distance, so that's where like the sprinting back strategy sometimes doesn't always work. Ooh, we parried him. We'd be better off using a two-handed weapon because we don't have block. And we don't really have much constitution either, which is what dictates that. Alright, so let's see. Loose arrow, loose arrow, loose arrow. Again, I always take loose arrows just so I can... And we'll take the ruin stuff again. Just to make it where I can actually see. Because it's just hard to see if there's tons of ruin stuff and loose arrows everywhere. Is it day already? Is it day, I wonder? I don't know. I don't want to go up just for money's sake, because money's fairly easy to get in this game, at least especially in Swampstone. Other places, it's a lot harder. Swampstone, very easy. I'd say if you're playing multiplayer, there'd be more pressure to get of being pushed out of Swampstone. I want to see if I can find a crack somewhere. Oh no! I found a bunch of people. I wanted to see if I could find a crack somewhere so I could show you exactly what I mean by falling into a crack and dying instantly. Not by falling into the crack and dying instantly, but rather just by showing you the crack. Okay, it's a magic dude. Okay, I'm gonna target him just so I know his health. The male orc, magic user. I don't think we can actually be orcs. I don't think we can be giants. I think orcs are actually kind of unique. I've actually run into a lot of orcs when I play multiplayer. Something about multiplayer, I seem to get a lot more orcs. Now that actually will fight the other two, so I'm gonna run and let them die against the absolute monstrous nature of the slime. The slime is actually really difficult to do damage to without some kind of magical ability. So the mage had the best chance of all of us. Oh boy! He's getting attacked from both sides here. Half by slime, half by a guy he barely knows. He's coming down in a cave, taking all his money and stuff. There we go. Loot. Oh, why do I want to loot right now? I could just loot. There we go. Oh wait, where'd the slime go? Uh-oh. Where'd that thing go? What did I unleash? What have I unleashed? Oh, I am actually starting to get hungry though. Oh, I hear someone coming down. We do know how to solve that, so that won't be too problematic. Oh boy, he's gonna make me run outside the dungeon. There we go. I haven't seen any magic user without a staff, so that's kind of worrying me that there isn't any alternative to using magic. So I might not take, so if I can't really use magic with weapons, I might just not take sorcery. I know it sounds sad, but I might not. Or I might just take wizardry and not sorcery. And just rely on defenses. Just defenses. And if I did, I have parrying, right? I have 2 skills right now. Wizardry and sorcery would be 2 more, right? Wizardry and sorcery would be my 2 other skills. I would need 2 more to get staff and evasion. But you could do it. You could do it because psionic you can get to where you have 6 with psionic. Or I guess maybe if you became undead somehow. Bag of good mithril. Rune of offense. Bunch of runes. If I find out how to make best use of runes of one of my characters, I'll have all the runes in the world to find out how to use it. Ironically, after your first kind of adventurer character, your character kind of becomes mythical in a way. Because you go, oh man, I remember back with Groon. Groon really, he built that pile of stuff before falling backwards into lava. And now his brother Grunmar, he's starting to create his own pile of treasure down in that cave. So if I were to make a smith or something like that, he's traveling around. He could just go, well, I know Groon and Grunmar are responsible for a bunch of trash being down in that dungeon. I can go take a bunch of that trash and make something from it. So I don't know. I like kind of that feeling in the world. I like it feeling kind of real. It's the same reason why, like with something like multiplayer Morrowind or Skyrim, I think if it could be really fun. I'm actually thinking possibly like multiplayer Skyrim at least, in addition to multiplayer Morrowind, because most of these have been playing Morrowind on Tuesdays. I've been playing on Tuesdays, so we could go back. We could actually just do the multiplayer one, because last time I played Morrowind, after we won, or not won, after we quit. Sorry, after we quit. I want to say won, but I realized that we accidentally stole something instead. We got in the game. After that, I realized that the patch wasn't really applying to save, since I downloaded the patch after that save was made, and so it wasn't giving me any like the alerts of what was stolen and what's not stolen, so we don't have any goofy situations. of accidentally picking something up and then having to either reload. Because I just don't like quick loading or quick saving that much. So I think that you see it at game conferences where they mention that, like when they make something, a lot of times they'll go, we want to get rid of those moments in which you reload the game. If anyone's seen the game Outward, that was kind of a huge element of Outward that they were trying to do. They didn't want you to reload. They wanted, if you got beat up, they wanted you to be, now you're on the other side of the world and you have to find your way back, or all these other things. They wanted it to be, that wasn't permadeath. It was somewhere between permadeath and it was like inconvenience. That if you were to lose, there's consequences, but it wasn't that you always got killed. The very common one was if you got beaten by bandits, you'd be arrested by bandits, and then you needed to escape. That was a fun option. It was a fun option, and it wasn't made easy. So that's a fun idea. There were some times in which it would spawn you on the other side of the world, and sometimes it would, or it'd be something that'd be really great for a certain quest, right? Like you want to meet, like I think it was like called like the Incarnate or something like that, where it was like you could get a special buff, right? Or special, a special kind of character. You might want to go, yeah, I want to meet the Incarnate, get this special kind of buff, and all this other stuff. But another character, you're like, I'm kind of playing kind of the character that's supposed to hate like kind of things like the Incarnate, so I don't really like it or something. I really don't like running into him because now I feel like I gotta attack him or something like that. So sometimes it was it was difficult if you had a character in mind, or a character built in mind. Because sometimes your character, which was good, your character kind of their history was made through gameplay, but a lot of games lately, or a lot of games just in history, you've kind of come in knowing who your character was from the beginning, for better or worse. Outward was really, really good at kind of trying to play devil's advocate, I guess you could say, for the alternative of making your character through gameplay versus making your character ahead of time and then going in. But I think that maybe one day it'll be implemented in a way that will be one day. It'll be fantasy. There'll be one day. Not to say that it isn't fun now, but one day it will be better. Even better. That you'll be able to it's kind of those experimental things. Because on one hand you do want to have the ability to die in a game. By that I mean is that it's not every situation you're captured, you're where we call it. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes some situations just better for something like permadeath. And I think there's a possibility of getting permadeath in that game. But if there is, I've never had that situation, so. But Outward's multiplayer too. But I'm not a huge fan of time stuff. I get that that's like they're like, oh well, you need to have time pressures to make sure because that's how real life would work. It's like, yeah, but at the same time, you don't have you don't have what we call it 1 hour, let's say. You don't so you don't have only maybe 1 hour a day or 2 hours a day or however many hours a day you have to live, and then you disappear into another dimension for 23 hours and come back and not know what you're doing and have to recap, if that makes sense. So your character's basically so you're kind of playing a character whose kind of mind is wandering something really serious. So this in the magic room, the wand crafting. So that can really impact the time. Let me check the sound real quick. So that can really impact... Oh yeah, okay, it's working all right. I just want to check. That can really impact your game time. So you can't necessarily be super optimal with your time. Because sometimes you just forget. And it wouldn't really make sense for your character to forget. It's like when you meet a bad guy and then you just talk to him nicely. It's like, oh yeah, I just talked to that bad guy nicely. And then you kind of forgot when you came back to the game. It's like, oh, you were supposed to be a bad guy. I accidentally sided with the bad guys or something like that. Not saying Outward specifically lets you do that, but you see what I'm saying. It leaves that possibility open of where if you walk away and you come back and you don't really remember what was going on, that you could end up making choices you didn't want to make. Let's see. I want to boost strength. The only problem is it's going to take a lot of experience. So I'm going to boost some parrying first. There's also parrying defense, which I think... Hold on. If I hover over it, it'll tell me. It's a self-defense buff. Which sounds just kind of good. I want to take it, but at the same time, I'm not sure. So I'll think about it. I'll see what other skills pop up. Strong weapon parry. If it's our only defense skill ever, then that's fine. Item strength buff. That is something we do want to take. Item strength buffs. And you'll see why item strength buffs are really good. Strong weapon parry I do want to take, but I kind of want to decide if I want to take that first. Any item buff is amazing. A little intensive in terms of you have to remember about it. But it's actually really, really helpful. Trust me. You'll thank me when you actually use it, because you'll just be just across the board, a lot better off because of it. I'm going to actually... I say this, but then I'm probably not going to take it yet. I'm just going to probably boost my parrying. And boost my strength. I mean, it's 3 experience. I could learn it. I can learn both of these. I'm going to take them. Because I guess I could do... I think the other thing is a protection buff. I think Battle Magic is a protection buff. So even if I got Battle Magic, I don't think I'm in that much trouble. So I'm going to take Parrying Defense. I'm going to take Parrying Defense. And hope I don't regret it. And Strong Weapon Parry. There you go. So if I were to go... Again, I really need to stop using a shield. I really need to use a 2-handed weapon. Once I get a 2-handed weapon, I'll have that option. But until then, I only have a 1-handed weapon. Now, I don't have the sword skill. So I should note, I don't have the sword skill. So even if I could theoretically turn around and use something else, if that makes sense, like a staff or a wand or something like that. And it's a 2-handed weapon, and you can parry with it, and my skills wouldn't be useless. Parry wouldn't be useless, but having the really high strength could end up being useless. Let's see. So if you do... Okay, so I'll show you how to do strong weapon. So if I remember correctly, I target something, and I cast it. Yeah, there we go. So the fake plate helmet becomes strong. So that basically is giving me a strength buff. On it is a strength buff. So as you can see, there's a strength buff. So strong weapon parry is on that. And then we can cast it on every piece of our equipment. And we're just boosting our abilities pretty dramatically, actually. But again, you're limited on how you can do it. It takes time. We do need to eat, though. We do need to have a meat. But I might not do it this episode. I might do it... and either I might start the next episode after eating, or I'll just go at the beginning of the next episode to eat. But I will show you how to do all those first. So, and you can keep track of if you've already done it, because it'll say it down here. It's a little hard to see if you have a lot of this here, because it kind of shows up around that top line. But it's there. So strong weapon parry. I do want to jump ahead and do it on my weapon, though. Where is it on? It's on my hands, and now our legs. Let's cast strong weapon parry. Now, the good thing is it lasts a long time. If you see duration 1900 seconds, it's pretty much 1900 seconds, which is a nice long time. It's a nice long time. And I think it gets longer the better your strength and your parrying is. It's just going to get better because strength modifies your parrying. So there is that. So you won't have to worry about it. You won't have to worry about it constantly. But you will need to redo it at some point. And that in itself will take some time. So consider that this is something you want to check before you go into dungeons, because it will affect your you won't be able to do it in the dungeon, I should say. That's really what it is. And now you can do it to I think you can do it to your friend's gear too. So if they wanted you to to buff a gear, I think if you took it off and dropped it on the ground, the buff would maintain itself, I want to say, or if you buffed a friend's weapon. I never tried it, but I imagine, because there are targetable buffs which you can buff other players with. So I'd imagine a logical conclusion would be that would be the case. But I would not. We'll call it, hold yourself to that if that makes sense. I would not build yourself around that. Okay, strong weapon parry, right ring, right ring. Okay, hold on. A dangerous ring. Don't have a left ring yet. Bracelet, cape. Did we already do the weapon? Yeah, I guess we already did do the weapon. Yeah, the Roy's short sword. Which again, I don't know who Roy is supposed to be in this game, unless it's a reference to another game. Fire Emblem or something like that. As far as I know, I don't think there's a Roy in the lore. And we got the bracelet and the cape. That's all we got left. We'll probably just do these last two strong weapon parries, and we'll probably sign off with it. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I really like this one. I really like DarkDIRE. It's one of my favorite ones to do every week. It's literally the day I look forward to, is the DarkDIRE day, just because it's the one where it's not like it's dangerous, but there's not a lot of pressure. There's enough pressure because your character will one day die, if you don't get them immortal some way. But there are ways of becoming immortal with varying degrees of ethics, at least as far as I know. Also, someone could be trolling me on whether I can actually become immortal through psionics. I don't know, but hopefully that will be the case. As far as I know, the one way I know for sure how to become this robe is magical, but you keep forgetting that. Oh, I do not want to remove it. And then can I click something? Okay, there we go. So let's go ahead and put up our weapons. There we go. And thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we come back to the MMO day because it's Friday. So we come back to the Star Wars Old Republic. Come back to Star Wars Old Republic, and we'll see you then. I'll just have my guys sit. See you guys later. All right, bye.